Did you know that one car brand was caught lying to its own customers not once, but twice? Or that one legendary automaker lost almost 80% of its sales in just 20 years? And what about the number one brand on this list? It still sells hundreds of thousands of vehicles every year. From the outside, it looks strong. But behind the scenes, the situation is completely different. Because car brands usually do not disappear overnight. First, the model lineup gets smaller. Then dealerships get quieter. Then resale values start falling. Then parts and service support become weaker. And eventually, the owner realizes one painful truth. I didn't just buy a car. I bought into a collapsing brand. Today, we are looking at 6 car brands facing serious trouble going into 2026. And if you are thinking about buying one of these cars, you need to watch this before making a decision. Because some mistakes become very expensive after you sign the paperwork. Number 6. Genesis. Let's start with Genesis. Genesis entered the market as Hyundai's luxury brand with a very strong idea. Offer BMW, Mercedes, and Lexus-level luxury for less money. On paper, that sounds amazing. Beautiful design, premium interiors, lots of technology, and a lower price. But there is one big problem in the luxury car world. Luxury buyers do not only shop for value, they shop for status. They shop for prestige. They care about what the badge says. And that has always been Genesis' biggest problem. When you pull up in a Genesis, some people still think, isn't that just an expensive Hyundai? That one perception can be deadly in the luxury market. The sales numbers show the problem clearly. Genesis sold around 75,000 vehicles in the United States, while BMW, Lexus, and Mercedes sold several times more. So yes, Genesis may build good cars. But it still does not have the same status as the major luxury brands. Then reliability concerns made things worse. Some Genesis models had fuel pump issues, sudden stalling problems, and power loss problems in electric models. These are not small comfort complaints. These are the kinds of problems that damage customer trust. Genesis also has another issue: cost. The brand relies heavily on imported parts, which means tariffs and higher costs can push prices up. But Genesis was built around the promise of affordable luxury. If prices rise too much, the brand loses one of its strongest weapons. Now some models have already been discontinued, and others may be next. That suggests Genesis may not be expanding. It may be shrinking. Buying a Genesis today does not mean the car itself is bad. But the real risk is this. If the brand gets weaker, your resale value may be the first thing to take the hit. Number 5. Mitsubishi. For many car enthusiasts, the Mitsubishi name still brings back powerful memories. The Lancer Evolution, the Eclipse, the Montero. These were not just cars. They were dream machines. They were the kind of cars teenagers put on their bedroom walls. The kind of cars people raced in video games. The kind of cars that made you turn your head on the street. But today's Mitsubishi is not the same Mitsubishi. In 2002, Mitsubishi sold around 345,000 vehicles in the United States. By 2024, that number had dropped to around 86,000. That is not just a decline. That is a collapse. Walk into a Mitsubishi dealership today and the excitement is almost gone. No real performance cars. No strong halo model. No vehicle that makes people feel something when they see the badge. Just a small lineup of crossovers and SUVs. The soul of the brand feels hollowed out. But Mitsubishi's biggest problem is not only falling sales, it is broken trust. In 2000, Mitsubishi was caught hiding serious mechanical defects from regulators. That was not a simple mistake. It was a systematic cover-up. Then in 2016, the brand was caught in another major scandal. This time, fuel economy data had been falsified on hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Police raids followed. Executives resigned. Lawsuits piled up. The company lost massive value. Eventually, Nissan had to step in and take a controlling stake in Mitsubishi. Today, owners report CVT transmission failures, engine stalling, electrical problems, and suspension issues. Mitsubishi may still carry nostalgia. But nostalgia does not repair a broken transmission. And it does not protect your resale value either. Number 4. Chrysler. Chrysler is one of the most important names in American automotive history. This is the brand connected to the Hemi engine. The brand that helped create the minivan segment. the brand that changed how American families traveled. For decades, Chrysler meant innovation, comfort, and practical American transportation. But today, Chrysler is in a very different position. In 2005, Chrysler sold more than 640,000 vehicles in the United States. By 2024, that number had dropped below 125,000. That is almost an 80% collapse from its peak. And the bigger problem is this: Chrysler barely has any models left. The Chrysler 300 is gone. The Voyager mostly survives as a fleet vehicle. And the Pacifica is basically the last major consumer model keeping the brand alive. But even Pacifica sales are falling. It is being outclassed by the Honda Odyssey, Toyota Sienna, and Kia Carnival. The Airflow EV was supposed to be Chrysler's electric future. It was supposed to prove that the brand still had something modern to offer. But Stellantis cancelled the project before it ever reached showrooms. That is a terrible sign. The biggest fear is simple. Stellantis' former CEO warned that some brands in the group could disappear by 2026. And Chrysler is one of the names people worry about most. When a car brand starts disappearing, the executives do not feel the pain first. Owners do. Resale values drop. Dealership networks shrink. Service becomes harder. Parts become harder to find. So buying a Chrysler today is not just a car purchase. It is a bet on the future of the brand. Number 3, Infiniti. Infiniti used to be a much more exciting brand. It was Nissan's luxury division, but it was not just a more expensive Nissan. It had its own personality. The G35 offered real driving excitement. The FX series looked different. The QX80 had presence and power. Infiniti had an identity. But over time, the brand lost that identity. Instead of focusing on performance, driver engagement, and bold design, Infiniti chased the generic luxury SUV market. And by doing that, it became forgettable. In 2017, Infiniti sold around 153,000 vehicles in the United States. By 2024, sales had dropped to around 58,000. That is a serious decline. The dealership network also weakened. Some standalone Infiniti dealerships closed or were absorbed into Nissan dealerships. Then the models started disappearing. The Q50 is gone. The QX50 and QX55 have ended production. What is left? Mostly the QX60 and QX80. That means an entire luxury brand is trying to survive with only a very small lineup. Older Infiniti models were also hurt by CVT transmission problems, power loss complaints, engine issues, airbag defects, and brake problems. Customer confidence slowly disappeared. And resale values followed. Infiniti talks about a comeback. It talks about new models and an electric future. But right now, the reality is clear. The brand is shrinking. The dealer network is weaker. And vehicle values are under pressure. Buying an Infiniti today is not just buying a car. It is trusting a brand that has been losing ground for almost a decade. Number 2, Jaguar. Jaguar used to be one of the most emotional names in the car world. British elegance. The leaping cat logo. The sound of the F-Type. The presence of the XF. Jaguar was not just transportation. It was character. But today, Jaguar is in a deep identity crisis. In 2024, Jaguar removed several major models from key markets, including the XE, XF, F-Type, I-Pace, and E-Pace. Almost everything disappeared at once. The F-Pace is basically the only model left standing for now. The plan was bold. Go fully electric. Move upmarket. Reinvent the entire brand. But the execution was heavily criticized. Jaguar changed its iconic logo and introduced a new brand image that many people found too abstract and lifeless. The promotional campaign barely showed cars. There was no engine sound, no heritage, no sportiness, no feeling of what made Jaguar special. The internet reacted brutally. The CEO stepped down months later. Some dealers started struggling. And the biggest problem is this: Jaguar currently has very little to sell. Its new electric models are not expected until 2026 at the earliest. Until then, the brand has to somehow keep customer trust alive with almost no fresh product. Reliability is also a major weakness. Jaguar often ranks poorly in reliability studies. Resale values are falling. And the brand's survival now depends heavily on Land Rover carrying the financial weight. Jaguar did not collapse because the world moved on. Jaguar got into trouble because it moved away from the things that made it special. If you buy a Jaguar today, you are not just buying the car. You are buying into the uncertainty of the brand's future. Number 1, Nissan. The number 1 brand may surprise a lot of people. Because Nissan is not a small or forgotten automaker. It is one of the most recognized car brands in the world. The GT-R, the Frontier, the Armada, the Altima. Nissan has built vehicles that shaped generations. And it still sells hundreds of thousands of cars in the United States. But that is exactly why the situation is so shocking. From the outside, Nissan looks strong. Behind the scenes, the picture is much darker. Nissan reported a major financial loss. Operating profit dropped sharply. Global sales have fallen heavily since 2017. The company laid off thousands of workers. It closed factories. It reduced production capacity. These are not the moves of a company going through a small rough patch. These are the moves of a company fighting to survive. The electric vehicle strategy also looks weak. Some EV projects were cancelled. The Maxima is gone. The future of the Altima looks uncertain. A brand once known for engineering and innovation is now focused on cutting costs and staying alive. This crisis did not appear overnight. The Carlos Ghosn scandal badly damaged Nissan's reputation. Then came more credibility issues involving emissions and fuel economy. There were even talks of a possible merger with Honda. But that deal did not happen. Now Nissan needs a strong partner, investor, or strategic alliance to stabilize the company. And this matters a lot if you are a buyer. Because when a major car company starts struggling, owners feel it first. Warranty support can weaken. Dealerships can shrink. Parts can become harder to find. Resale values can fall fast. Buying a Nissan today is not automatically a mistake. But buying one without understanding what is happening behind the scenes could be a very expensive mistake. So these are the 6 car brands to watch carefully going into 2026. Genesis, Mitsubishi, Chrysler, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Nissan. All of these brands are still sitting in dealerships right now. Some of them still build good cars. Some of them still have loyal fans. But when you buy a car, you cannot only look at the price, the design, or the engine. You also have to look at the future of the company behind it. Because the car you buy today may become painful to own tomorrow. It may lose value. It may become harder to service. Parts may become harder to find. And the brand itself may not support owners the way it once did. So before buying any car, ask one important question. Will the brand behind this vehicle still be strong in the future? Which brand on this list surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more car warnings, buying guides, and automotive market updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.